Hey guys, welcome back to Poseidon Massive Atlantis, and today we're going to start the next adventure here. We're going to be starting Proteus and Bellerophon. What are they? Or is it Proteus or Protus or something like that? I just realised the spelling's wrong. Anyway, a good leader keeps promises made to allies and old friends. Unfortunately, keeping promises can have some unpleasant consequences. This adventure is easy, consists of 6 pages to city episodes and 1 colony. Now, because there's only 1 colony, I won't show that colony choice screen when we get to it. Alright, let's start the adventure here.
Proteus always gets the bigger piece. It's not fair.
Acrisius whined when he heard his father's news. After dozens of years of skilled leadership, King Abbas was stepping aside and dividing his kingdom between his twin sons. Proteus indeed received the bigger piece, having been given the lands of Tiryns, Heraeum, and Mydia. Acrisius received the kingship of Argos, the prestigious capital city of the kingdom. Now listen, sons, Abbas said. In addition to ruling over the lands, you must also honor all the pacts I have made with fellow leaders during my kingship. This includes honoring the promise to protect Glaucus, king of Corinth. You too have a pact with King Abbas. Long ago, when both you and Abbas were in your youth, you promised to always look after each other's lands and progeny. Hopefully, Abbas's sons will be as faithful to the vow as Abbas was himself. Acrisius and Proteus's help could be invaluable as you prepare to establish a new city at Lycia. Lycia would be an ideal place to found a city if it weren't for some undesirable neighbors. Hostile tribes of Amazons live nearby, and the people of Ptolemy resent all foreign intrusions. Then, there's the small matter of the fierce Chimera, who has been spotted in the area. Having the king's sons on your side would make facing these challenges much easier. Perhaps one of your daughters would be willing to enter into marriage with one of Abbas's sons and solidify the union between the two families. Certainly it's a matter to be considered as you begin to construct Lycia.
Absolutely. So this is the starting mission, boys will be boys, and we've got some fairly clear goals. We're going to have a population of 1500. We're going to support some hoplites. Notice it's hoplites, not whatever it was, spearmen. That's because we're no longer in the Poseidon Atlantis stuff. It's back to Zeus kind of stuff. And a treasure of 5,000. So fairly clear goals. Let's head to the city. Slow time down and pause. Now we have... You'd be forgetting if this was just a sandbox map because there's just so much empty space. It's basically a rugged coast with a little bit of inlet there, in there, and just a big flat empty nothing really. I mean there is so much farmland. You've got farmland here, and there's just a tiny little patch down here, and there's also a bunch over here. There's like tons. I mean there's so much farmland and open space that you'd be forgiven it. This was an actual sandbox map, but here we go. Here's our trading cities. We've got a lot on this map. Can remember some of these like Tiryns, Corinth. So I don't know what time period this takes place at 1050 BC, but we've got a lot of cities. I think that's the spelling. I think it's meant to be Themyscira, as in Cyra, not that spelling. Anyway, we're down here at Lycia, sort of in the sort of area where Miletos and all that were, but never mind. So we do have a lot of trade partners, but it's important to note that quite a number of them are shit and completely useless. Argos sells you fish and oranges. You don't need that when you can grow wheat. Medea buys meat, which you can't produce, and they sell olive oil, which is something you can produce, so another worthless trade route. Tiryns sells you fleece, you can produce that. Grapes, you can produce that, you don't need to import fish, but they do buy armor, and that's a useful import-export that you can do with Antissa over here. They sell you bronze. Corinth sells you wheat and wine, you produce that anyway. Heraeum sells you marble, which you don't produce, and they buy fish. So Heraeum is an important trade city for later. You do build it into a colony later. Themyscira buys marble and sells meat. I think we conquer them, or maybe Ptolemy here. They sell bronze and buy wood. Anyway, there's 3 trade cities down here that I've mentioned. Haven't mentioned, sorry. Dicta, Ephinus, and Anath. Now, if you look at them, you don't actually trade them. They are allies, but none of them actually sell anything. Over the first 3 missions, the first 2 which are parasitic in the colony, there's an event which tells you to send Bellerophon to these cities in the order of Dicta, Ephinus, and Anath, but you can't summon Bellerophon, so basically these 3 cities will just disappear and get lost, so there's no point worrying about these. It's only these other cities you need to bother about. But we do start with a healthy amount of cash, 7,500. And since this is such a big open map with plenty of space, we are just going to do the city centre street straight down down here. Plenty of wheat farm up here. We can also put a little bit of fleece over here. And over here we will have our olive oil and wine industry. But straight away we're not going to be doing anything with wine. We're going to be producing a bit of olives because that will be an export later. Anyway, I am going to go and plan out the city and start building some common blocks because we are going to need them. I'm not going to bother about elites right now. So yeah, I'll come back in once I've planned out the first housing blocks. Okay, so here's our first 2 blocks down. We've got a couple of wheat fields down as well. I didn't go through the resources with you. You do have wheat farms, so therefore your entire city can be fed on wheat. You've got... I know that I said that we've gone out of the Poseidon stuff, but the Poseidon change that includes coral and cattle is still there. But given that you've got wheat, there is actually no reason to make meat on this map. But we can make our own sheep. We can hunt, which is pointless. We could grow both... grapes and olives. Got timber mill, that stuff, blah blah blah. Got all these trade routes and all that, so we're gonna be good. And all that usual shenanigans. As you can see here, it's culture. So we're back to these buildings again, which I like because they're not so annoying to place and they don't screw up like they did with that museum and all that. We can put down the armory straight away, so we will start making armor and all that, getting our houses up there, but for now, we're just going to run time on and get going. Employees. Now, there are some rules up here. We will put down a tower at some point, a little 2x2 wall on the tower, just to keep them happy and all that. I'm not sure if I'll put a housing block here. I'm not too sure yet. But for now, we can just put down a... let's just put that there. Move this up. A roadblock there, he can just go up here. Now what we have is a bit of a zigzag here. The farming land is not too very well spaced, so I've done this zigzag just to make sure that all of the land is used and all that. But we will have some wolves, excuse me, causing some problems. Now we're going to get our first wheat harvest, which is good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this run and I'm going to come back in when important events start to come in. Okay, so here's the first important event. Antissa is going to buy olives, and our economy is literally going to be funded by olive exports. But unfortunately, if we have a look at that here for distribution, olives only sell for 38, so they're only marginally better than fish. It's not pricey good, we'll say. Bronze is very expensive to import. It's 175, and I normally import that for less. And our armor is 225, so prices are much higher than what they should be on this map. But we will get more exports. So on this mission, we are going to be relying quite a lot on taxation for our income. So we are going to put down this palace here when these guys get out of the way, and we'll just put a... I can have maybe a block just here, just out of the way and all that, but we are going to put that down, get that going. So now that we are got our first export set up, we're going to have to, well, we've been told about our next export. I'm going to do a, let's just see, 1, 2, 1, 2, so we'll just do it there. We're going to do a 2x2 loop over here, which is going to fund all of that. And we're just going to cut through here, like so. And connect them up like so. The best thing is I don't need to worry about any spawning walkers and crap. So let's put down, let's see, is this far enough away? I think it's just maybe not right up there, so we'll put that there. Just put that there, and we're not going to set up olive oil industries. We're just going to put down growers lodges like so, and we're just going to spam down some olive trees just like so. And this farmland is a good place for all of your grapevine industry and your olive tree industry. So basically, we're going to have all of our olive oil and wine made over here with our wheat on this main land over here. I could build over... Oops. I could build over here, but this is way too far from ideal trade points. Over here, there is places to put down trade piers, but this is not a big... I mean, there's only like one space. Over here in this inlet is better, there's more space, you can get down a lot more trade piers, because you can get like 1, 2, 3, 4, you can get like 4 down in this space, but we will need triremes. It is trireme wharfs, not frigate wharfs, thus the orichalc boost is not a thing. Now we have some food come in, which is good. Gonna raise wage rates to very high. And yeah, so we're gonna come back in once our first olives have been producing. No. Next thing is in January, so we've got some time, we might get some olives. So I'll come back in once we've got some olives, unless an important event happens. Okay, I did forget to put down the infirmary, so our citizens got plagued and killed them off. But we are going to get a bit of an olive harvest, it looks like. So let's just put down a temporary storage yard to accept olives for now, just to see how many we get out of this little harvest. And let's see, come on, harvest some olives. I think they're going to die off because these aren't getting enough workers. So we might not get a harvest this year. We've got so many workers needed. That's because of these houses dying off, which doesn't really help. What's this? Forage the land for food, but I don't think it's not like Seeds are free where they just get food anyway by foraging. It doesn't work like that. Never mind. We do have a bit of a fleece industry set up. I've managed to place this just perfectly that I can just get literally a line of sheds here and they all fit within 2 tiles, and I can just sort of span them around this here. Now you've noticed that there's a road going round here. I'm going to have all my colleges and drama schools and all that here, as long as the ones on the ends of the elite block as well. So we're going to have 2 elite blocks here, and probably 1 just down here. And they should all be within range of this one granary. If not, I could just put another granary down here in the corner, set to getting wheat, and we should be fine. Now let's just speed up time. So we've got some olives. We've got actually quite a bit of olives here. Not much, but we are running out of money very slowly here. I don't want to feed the people yet. I want to wait till the next harvest. Oops. And Antissa's going to buy more olives now. That's quite nice. So we're going to get to sell 24 olives to Antissa, which is our only export pretty much. Another export is of course importing bronze and exporting armor, but that's not really worth it because you have to import the bronze. The bronze is 175, the armor is 225, so the profit's like 50. Which is only just marginally better than selling olives directly. So we are going to be relying heavily on taxation for making profit on this mission. So because we are in culture buildings, it's going to be so much easier to build all the things we need, because these are all like 3x3s. They don't consume tons of space. The only building that's big enough is the theatre, and we only need to put down a few of them. Of course, because we are in the culture era and all that, we do have the monuments from doing the games and all that, I think, as well. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think on missions you can disable that ability, so maybe we won't have any of those Ismithian games or anything. It might be just because we don't have culture buildings that we're not going to get warnings about them. Anyway, I'm just going to let this run. I'm going to wait for the next harvest to come in. It looks as if it has actually, so let's just boost storage and distribution temporarily. Oh, here we go. Event. Chimera menaces Dicta. I think that's how it's said. There's great trouble afoot at Super Sajuuk. A messenger from the court of Lustistrato was just able to sneak out of Dicta with word that Chimera has set upon the city. Lustistrato asks you to send forces within 1 month. There is no way you can summon Bellerophon, especially because you can't even build his hall, so you can't actually see what he wants. There's no way to fulfill this request. This is scripted to lose Dicta. So we're just going to ignore that. And we're going to actually put down the first Agora. Here, provide food, and we might as well just put down the first college right here. I will move that later to over here as well, but for now we can just put down this and feed the people. So just for your time, we've got a little bit of all this, but I don't think these workers are working as well as they should be, so it's not working like it should. There we go. Because I refused to send forces to kill Chimera, Dicta is not happy with me, but they're destroyed anyway. A great tragedy, sorry. A tragedy unimagined by even a great Sophocles has occurred today. The deadly monster Chimera has destroyed Dicta. Its leader, Lustistrato, has gone off in search of a new city to lead. So it's gone, and basically, Chimera, the lore behind this, if there is any lore to be found, is that he's going across here all the way up to our city. So I think after the colony, or maybe the mission, 1 or 2 missions after the colony, we will have to defeat Chimera, but it's very easy to defeat. You might not even be able to summon Bellerophon in time. Anyway, we are going to continue on here, get these shacks up to the next level. We are going to have to provide better access to all that stuff, so let's just stop that and boost culture. I'll come back in once we've got our housing stabilised. Okay, so more people are coming in, and we are just about to run out of money here. So since we've got a massive supply of olives, we can just put down this trade post, and we might as well just put it here. We're just going to sell olives, and we're just about to go into debt, so we might as well. We can only sell 8 olives at a time, so this is probably just a bit too much. We might set up an olive oil industry, but not right now. We've got a massive supply of everything we need, so we can just sell off. This has gone into debt, so we should get some rescue funds very soon. We didn't even get any rescue funds because we managed to sell off the olives, so we're barely keeping it together. We don't even have fleece. I mean, fleece is worth more than olives, so we are not going to be making money very quickly. May have to raise taxation levels and all that. How many people can we hold? 148. That's going to be a lot of unemployment, so let's just reduce wage rates, but we can boost tax rates up to high and get these people going. Next harvest is coming in. Now, since we've not got much, we've only got, what, 16 wheat out of these farms, so we are going to put down some additional farms. We're just going to put that 1, 2, 3 employees needed, yes. What I can do is just, since there's no space to put a farm in there, I'm just going to drag the road out like this instead. There's no space to put things there anyway. This just makes it easier, I suppose, because then I can just put that like that. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'm just going to spam up all the farms I need over here. We will set up a tower at some point just to get rid of these, just so that these rules don't do too much damage to us. We've sold 8 olives so far. We're going to sell more in a minute when the traders get off the map. If Ines becomes resentful and Namphis become resentful, I'm not too bothered by that. These guys are supposed to go resentful because they're pissed off that they're pissed off. Sorry, I said that wrong. They're pissed off that Dicta got lost, but never mind. No one else is upset by us, so that's just scripted, to be honest. Anyway, we're going to continue to sell olives, keep ourselves just in the black, barely. We're going to continue to evolve our housing, get the people that we need. And yeah, I'm just going to let this run and come back in a bit later. Okay, so we have started to make a good profit here. We are only losing about 2 drachma a month, which means that we must be keeping everything balanced. Our payroll is 1,032, and our taxes are 816, but we've also got this. So this is keeping us well. We've actually sold off all the olives we need before even the end of the year has happened, so we're keeping that going. I put down a tower just here, manned it. This will just keep these wolves under control. I can't put a farm there anyway because there's no grassland, but I also got this all set up. He doesn't get all the way around, so I've got a second one here, just keeping these ones on the end. Nice and happy, so we'll have plenty of farms by the end of this, to be honest. Plenty of fleece as well. I don't think we're going to be asked for fleece or anything, but we have plenty of food now. And we've got some tenements here. We can get these up to the top level very quickly, so we're not going to be too problematic there. I'm just going to extend this a bit more, because I think I can just sort of dump the stadium just at the end here or something. Just at the end there, just to provide access to the competitor, which is fairly consistent in Zeus anyway. So get people coming in, and that will provide us unemployment, which will allow us to set up our other industries. We are going to set up our bronze and all that as well. We're going to have to import bronze, but we don't have the money just yet. So I'm just going to let this run, and I'm going to come back in later when we're ready to set up the elite housing area. I'll go and plan it out anyway, and I'll come back in when we're ready to support it. Okay, so we've been given the helping hand from Iphanis for 1,000 drachma. Now this is hilarious in the fact that 1, they went resentful. 2, they got resentful, and 2, they suspended trade. So a useful kind of donation, but we are not making enough money to keep ourselves permanently out of debt. We're just sort of fluctuating really. Of course, now that we're producing olive oil, production is going to be hampered a bit. So we can just put down a few more olive trees, I think, just sort of get a load down basically. Can just put down an extra one of those. You did see me just down there planning out this, so we're going to have 1 elite block here, another one right next to it, and probably just another one right here. We don't need to do tons of conquering in this campaign. In fact, the only mission that requires you to conquer cities is the next one. And even then, it's very limited. It's like, just conquer some really weak cities, which is Medea, Tyrants, and Herrera, which are weak anyway, so it's okay. Other than that, there are other cities that you can just conquer outright. I think there's one mission that requires you to conquer some enemy cities, but even that's not that difficult. So we've got our first elite block planned out. That'll go quite well, I think. There should be plenty of space there. There should be plenty of space next here as well. I could just leave a bit of a gap if this is just a bit too close. We're getting people coming in, which is good. We can just raise taxation at this point outrageous just to try and get some money. So at this point, I'm kind of limited by how much I can improve the city. It looks as if some of these corner houses aren't evolving because of desirability. So at this point, I just need to wait to get money. So I'm going to come back in once we have met the treasury goal because we can't do anything else. I don't want to grow this city because there's not going to be enough people to keep employed. We don't have enough money either. So yeah, I'll just let this run. It'll come back in once we have met the treasury goal, and that'll allow me to start planning out other areas that will allow me to keep above that treasury goal. Okay, so we have pretty much gone through this treasury goal. We do have 7,888, so we've returned back our starting funds, like I always like to say. Basically what I mean by that is that we have gone over the amount of money that we started with. So we started with 7,500, we're now over that, so we've basically spent all the money and returned it back. So we're now basically making a profit. And you'll see here I've put down a couple of wineries, just done that just to sap up some unemployment. We do need a lot of workers, so this is a good time to put down the oil vendor and distribute olive oil, and that should bring us up to the 1,500. Then all we need to do is support some hoplites. So one little block of elite housing should do that. We might need two, I'm not sure, but I think we might get there. We can get up to at least manor level, so I think that just takes 4, so that'd be 4, 8, 12. So one block of elite housing is all we need. So we are going to have to evolve our housing, so I think this is within all range of this. If not, I'll just have to bring goods. I know that some goods are definitely out of range for this, but we can put this down and just see how far. He'll cover all of this, and there we've got some townhouses. Over here we're going to have a yard getting wine, and we're also going to have a yard set to get, that's actually the wrong place, so let's just put that here. This is going to get armor for all of our blocks because our armor is sort of far away at this point, and I don't want to export it. There's no profit to be found in it. Maybe in a later mission I'll export armor if I've just got too much of it, but for now we are going to import small amounts of bronze, just very small amounts, just 4 at a time. And we'll just put a yard here to accept armor, and we'll just put down, we are hemorrhaging a lot of workers, so I think this is a good opportunity to just evolve both blocks to the top level. They should all have access to everything. Now this is what I like about the culture buildings, is that I can just put down a college and a gymnasium and they all have access to the highest level. Whereas in the Poseidon stuff with the science buildings, I had to usually put down all of the science buildings just to keep them stable because they wouldn't stay stable. So, and of course they consumed more space. I mean, I can just do this and that's consumed very little space. And if I need to, I've got space to put down the theatre and it doesn't consume that much space either. It's all I'd ever want, which is filling up the blocks, which was quite annoying. But for now, we can put down the armory. Just 2 armories will be more than enough. For now, with the amount of bronze we're going to import, that'll keep all that supplied, and we'll just bring over the stuff that we need. The block that I put down here may well probably be too far from this, so I will, when that time comes, start bringing resources closer here. But for now, it's not a big deal. And you're probably wondering why I'm going to have a road going down here. It's just that down here is a good place to put down things like triremes without using up too much space and all that. I can put down like a trireme there and a trireme there. Maybe one there, I'm not sure. I can't remember all the water trade routes that we have. I didn't explain, it doesn't matter anyway. Here you'll notice I put down 4 common blocks for later when we need them. We'll just sort of expand them over time. They should all be within range of all of this stuff up here, so that's fine. We've also expanded our carding industry to support more sheep and fleece, of course. Making plenty of olives now, we're supporting that quite nicely. And the amount of grapes we have should be enough to support that. So at this point I'm just going to wait. I need monuments before I can put down anything here, and when we have the 2 monuments, I'm going to wait until I've got 2 monuments. I'll come back in once they have come in, and we'll start building our elite housing to win the mission. Okay, so I eventually got a happiness monument here, which I've managed to get, and this is evolved straight up to the top level of manor. It can't go any further though because we don't have desirability, but as you'll notice the houses are red because that's how it's done in the Zeus stuff, so you can tell that you're in Greek stuff now. But what I'm going to do is, because we don't have any other way of getting monuments, because there are no there's no yearly games. Unfortunately, it looks as if on this map the developer of the map disabled those, so we don't have any way of getting those monuments, which would have been very quick, to be honest. What I'm going to do is just pointlessly attack a rival like Solomon with just a few troops. I know that's going to totally fail. However, the benefit of doing that is that it will get them to furious, angry, and they'll invade, and then I can just bite them off with a thingy. So it's not too difficult. Hunting on this map is not really reliable. There's no point, and there's no need to rear meat. I don't know why they give you those options when wheat is clearly superior. Whenever wheat is on a map, just farm it, don't grow anything else, you don't need any other food types. So I'll come back in once we've got a commemorative monument, which will probably be when the invasion comes round. Okay, so Solomon is going to launch an invasion in 1 month, a Persian army. That's very interesting because in the Cleopatra expansion, there are Persians, but that doesn't matter. Now, we are making a ridiculous amount of money now. In fact, we're not even making that from exports. If you look here, last month we made basically 10,000 in taxes. Exports made 900. So clearly exports are just worthless. Exports are good at the beginning when you've got like no way of making money because you don't. But other than that, taxes are pretty much your only source of income in this campaign. You have to rely on them. Now, obviously I attacked Solomon just to get an invasion, just to get another monument. Because why not? 7,000 paid off. It was a land invasion right there, which it probably was pretty easy to defeat anyway, but we don't need to do that. We can just put down this victory monument and put down 2 more houses, and that allows us to win. They're going to go up to manors, they need horses, so these 2 just need to fill up and we'll win. We actually lost a bit of money. I'll spend some time in the next mission making money. We've planned out this elite block here, which is not going to have anything built in it yet, but it's just all planned out. So we're going to have 2 elite blocks right here, nicely on the Lycian coast. And probably another one right here, which will get taxes here. I may have to move all of this down here so it's all within range of the 3 blocks. But for now, we're fine. In the next mission, we will put down more housing. As you can see, we are running a bit of a labour shortage, but nothing we can't handle. So the people will come in. This tower is doing its job of keeping those wolves in check. These houses will evolve. And yeah, we can just save. And steam through to victory, pretty much. They're just going to need to evolve. Straight up to the top level, get their armour, and then we'll have the hoplites supported, and that'll allow us to win the mission. They just need the armour, which they're getting. So yeah, we'll just power on to victory. That's all we need to do to win.
Though the town of Lycia has begun to thrive, trouble abounds in the world. Chimera is making life miserable in the nearby countryside, and some fear that she is heading straight for Lycia. In Argos, King Abbas has finally succumbed to death. His sons, rather than embracing each other in grief, have deepened the rift between them. Giving in to his greed, Acrisius has ousted Protus from the lands that his father bequeathed to him. Protus has come to Lycia and, calling upon the pledge that you made to his father so many years ago, has asked for your protection and help in reclaiming what is rightfully his. In the wake of King Abbas's passing, how can you refuse?
Absolutely. So there we go. That is the mission. Boys will be boys. We've got all the exact numbers of hoplites supported. And yeah, it looks as if Chimera will be heading towards us in the near future and probably another mission. But yeah. King Abbas has died, blah blah blah, and the 2 sons have decided to go out all-out war against each other, but that's not a big deal. Anyway, that was the mission. Boys will be boys. In the next part, we are going to head into the next mission where we're going to start conquering some of these cities per that briefing. Thanks for watching. See you in the next part, guys. Bye now.